Hello, everyone, and welcome to Insurance Basics with Ken in 15 minutes or less. Today's topic, shopping insurance. That's always a huge subject that comes up when anybody is looking at purchasing any insurance products. Unfortunately, people want to always begin with the price instead of what the need is. And in my 25 years of selling a variety of insurance products, I've tried to remind people to let's first speak about the need before we get to the pricing, because there's no sense in buying anything that you don't need, or it's not going to serve the purpose that you're planning on paying the premium for. Sounds pretty basic, doesn't it? Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to buy something before you knew what you were buying and if that was going to fulfill the need? So I always try to back people down into thinking about that first before we get into the pricing discussion. Because once we've determined what your need is, then we can back into the different carriers that can fill that need and give you the best product at the best pricing. So there's a couple ways to approach this. You go to captive or branded agencies like a State Farm or an Allstate, or in auto, maybe Progressive or USAA, any brand name that you know, or you go to an independent agent or agency that has a variety of markets that might be able to give you some more options. But again, no matter what side you're speaking with, the captive branded side or the independent side, you still have to determine why you're buying it in the first place. And of course, a lot of people say, well, I'm buying it because I have to buy it. And that's true, right? If we have a mortgage on our home, we have to buy insurance. The lender's going to mandate that. They might even mandate flood insurance. And if we have a business, well, again, the lender could be involved, so we're going to have coverage. And then we might be dealing with a landlord. We might be a tenant. They're going to require certain coverages. And then depending on who we're doing business with, if you're a vendor to a national company, let's say, or even a regional company that has insurance requirements, then you're going to have to buy a certain product there also. So it's really important to understand what type of agent you're contacting, because our business is really split into a couple of areas. One is known as personal lines and the other is known as commercial lines. It seems pretty obvious. The personal lines is the homeowners, maybe a condominium unit insurance, an auto, personal auto, maybe an umbrella, a flood policy, could include life insurance and disability insurance, a couple of other products, depending on the need. Or if it's a business, then you go in another direction. And again, there's the lender involved. There's property to insure. There's contents of the business. There might be some business income. These are all things we're going to get into in the different episodes on the YouTube channel I've put together. But for now, I'm really trying to get you to understand who you're speaking with, who you want to speak with, before you make any decisions about insurance. You need to try to find someone you can trust. You need to find someone who's experienced. You don't want to go to a personal lines agent for commercial lines. And most commercial lines agents don't sell personal lines. They may have a personal lines division, so you'll get transferred to people within the company that specialize on personal lines. But you need to have the conversation with someone that can have a quality conversation with you about what you need. And then we take it and we build it from there. By taking your need, then there's certain carriers that want to cover that exposure. People often think that just because they want to buy insurance, every company out there wants to write it. And that is just not true. Different carriers offer different products for different types of exposures. It's the way the business is structured. So again, the most important thing from the beginning is not the price. That does become important. And let me clear something else up for you also. When someone says, "Oh, I'm getting this for half the price," my answer to them is, no, you're not. You're not doing that. Carriers are competitive, and there are sometimes pricing maybe 10%, maybe even 15 or 20%. But I have never, in my 25 years of selling insurance products, found that one carrier is half the cost of another carrier, because somewhere along the line, you're not comparing the same exposure. These carriers are all in business to sell their products and their services, and that's another thing. Who are you going to buy from that's going to provide the service? Insurance is based on unforeseen and accidental losses. You can't buy a claim. Once that loss has occurred, whether it's covered or not will be determined by the policy you have. That is not the time to get into a discussion with your agent or agency about whether this policy is going to work or not, because they should have discussed that with you in the beginning, and you should have listened to them to make sure that you're buying the correct product. And again, I can just tell you, in talking with hundreds and hundreds of people that wanted to look at products over the years, the majority of the people, no matter how smart they are at the business they're in, they are not smarter than the insurance people that they're going to speak to about their product. So what's the takeaway on this subject of shopping for insurance? Get with a consultant, someone you trust, someone who's been in the business, and someone that'll listen to you and you'll listen to them. Tell them what you're looking for, let them understand the exposure, and then get down to shopping the market to see what the best terms and pricings are that are available today. That's my recommendation. This is Insurance Basics with Ken in 15 minutes or less. See you again soon. Bye-bye.